800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour. $20 gold pieces, 1 through 49, $13.75. 50 or more. Wait, 13 cents. $23.75. I'm losing it today. 20 or more, 2,350. Right, so let me try it again. Man, I'm messing this whole thing up. 1 through 49, 2,375, 50 or more, $2,350. And unfortunately, I think today's probably going to be the last day because we got less than 75 20s left. The good news is the price when this sale is over will be $2,395, so off $100 on a $30, just on regular retail. Again, you're seeing that premium come in. Please take advantage if you can, because again, this is something where we've got some profit taking, we've got some delusional thinking, and of course, let's face it, we know J.P. Morgan, they've got a lot of control in this market. This pullback will be short and sweet. It will not last too long. By the way, we had 7 more large bankruptcy filings this week. It is now the largest number of filings on record during a 2-day period going back to 2008. So obviously we knew what was going on in 2008. This is the largest amount of bankruptcy filings, what they consider large bankruptcy filings in a 2-day period going back to 2008, according to Bloomberg. These are companies that have at least $50 million in liability. So that's kind of where they say, okay, once you've got $50 million in liabilities, we're going to consider you a large bankruptcy. We had 7 of those happen. The biggest, Vice Media, $450 million, which at one point was valued at $5.7 billion. They filed for Chapter 11 in the Southern District of New York. Monotronics, they had more than $1 billion of debt coming due in 2024, and this is going to be another problem. A lot of these companies are going to go into bankruptcy just because their debt's coming due. And remember, Jason and I, we've explained this to you. For the last 15 years, they just refinanced because rates were zero. Rates were zero. Now, let's just say they get lucky, and all they've got to do is pay the interest rate difference. That's still too much. But for most of these companies, a lot of that collateral is no longer worth what it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, especially if it's commercial real estate, and then you get the double whammy. So that's what happened to Monotronics. Envision Healthcare, they were backed by KKR. They're a huge, huge company. They raised more than $1 billion, and they said that they just ran out of cash. Vitar Materials, about $350 million. Cox Operating, this was a oil producer, right? Kind of weird. You think, wow, an oil producer is going under. $100 million. Kittelfenol, they were a fire protection and suppression company, over $1 billion. They were derailed by a ton of lawsuits as well. But, Jason, not a good sign when we're seeing these large bankruptcies picking up speed.
And simply pausing the rates, which is what's expected to come, is not going to slow this down. This debt comes due for different companies at different times. And Joe, really, I think a lot of companies bought some short-term debt, like 2 and 5 year stuff, because of the coronavirus emergency, because there was so much uncertainty. Remember that? So if you're buying 2 year until 2020 or 2021, and that debt's coming due in 2022 and 2023, and the rates have been up in these years. 5 year debt, you bought some 5 year debt in 2020, Joe. 2025, If you can't get cheaper debt, and so these rates that we're at, if they don't lower it, Joe, and we don't know for sure. Everyone thinks, well, at some point they'll lower it for sure, and then they'll start printing. They could print with the rates just what paused, I guess, Joe. Think about that, right? And then so these bankruptcies that Joe's talking about, this can just continue to happen, and it could snowball and become more severe quickly.
And when we look at this, again, it's something where sales falling, right? There's now another. It was already bad enough with the interest rate. If I had real estate involved, probably going to be a rougher ride. Hey, but now my sales are slowing, right? So again, even more pressure being added. There's a lot, and I hate to say, I don't want to be this negative, but it just is the reality. This is simple. This isn't complicated. There are a lot more bankruptcies coming. And I know for a lot of you, you're like, well, it doesn't feel that bad. Well, it doesn't feel that bad yet. But it's been happening gradually. Look at what Home Depot, look at what Target, right? They're all saying the same things. Well, January was okay. February got a little slower, but February was okay. And then March got worse. And then April got even worse. And May's not doing so well. This is the gradual, right? When we talk about, hey, how did you go bankrupt? Well, it was gradual at first, and then it was all of a sudden. And this is the markets that we live in. Wall Street seems to have that gift of ignoring the gradual grind. Right now, we've been gradually grinding lower, and Wall Street has that gift of ignoring it. But then all of a sudden, and then you have, and if you look at it, you have these massive down days, and it'll only be 2 or 3 massive down days, but next thing you know, you turn around, and you're down another 10% in your portfolio just that quickly, Jason.
It's been slowly grinding down for even the markets since 2021, because when the inflation hit in 2022, I've said this many, many times, if you got inflation, which is way over 10%, let's just be real, and your stocks are just remaining the same over the last 30 months, well, then they are grinding down. Even if the number's not down, you got less value there, Joe, because if you sold them, you can buy less stuff with it.
Yeah, and again, during the early part of that 30 months, the Dow was 37,000. Right? It's now 33. It's been grinding this year. I don't know for how much longer. And then, of course, oil. What is going on with oil? The Biden administration says, hey, they're going to buy 3 million barrels and put it in the strategic oil reserve. I'm calling BS. I'll tell you why when we get back. Eight 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason, $20 gold pieces, 1 through 49, $2,375, 50 or more, $2,350 at 800-951-0592. We've got rolls. I'm going to do silver, junk silver today. All of it down today. Silver's actually flat. But premiums falling a little bit here. Let's take advantage of these things. Rolls of silver dimes at $125. Rolls of silver quarters at $250. And rolls of half dollars at $265. That is a $35 drop in half dollar rolls in just the last 2 weeks. Keep stacking it up here, 800-951-0592. The Biden administration playing a huge game. I think energy is going to be very, very interesting. Right now, crude oil is $70. We're still paying $4.99 here. It's like, it doesn't even care. $84, $4.99. $70, $4.99. I don't get it, but neither here nor there. Every week, they've been pulling oil out of the strategic oil reserve, even though they said they stopped doing that. They haven't. They just kept doing it. Matter of fact, this week they did it again. Almost 3 million barrels they pulled from the strategic oil reserve. And yet yesterday they make an announcement, Jason, hey, we're going to buy 3 million barrels to put into the reserve. I got an idea. How about you just don't take any oil out and we'll call it even?
Well, I mean, it's supply and demand. It's pluses and minuses, so it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know if you have to rotate. I don't know if that's what they do. They actually rotate oil coming in, oil going out. But not having a net negative is obviously just as big of a problem as not getting oil produced at all or sold. So just stop giving it away. Stop lowering your supply, and you'll be able to save that 3 million barrels pretty easily, Joe. You could add an extra 100,000 barrels, and in about 30 weeks, you got another 3 million barrels, right? So, I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
It's all just a big game. They need to have Cushing, Oklahoma report increases, which they did this week. One report, because there's two different reports that come out. One says Cushing was up 2.8 million barrels. The other one said 1.4 million. Okay, essentially, it was up because you took the oil out of the reserve and sent it to Cushing, Oklahoma. Right now you're coming out on TV saying, hey, we're going to buy 3 million barrels from the reserve. And again, you're taking 3 million barrels out every week already. But again, Jason, like you said, it's all about how the number looks, right? How the number looks. Hey, we're going to send 3 million barrels to Cushing so we can say it had an increase. Then we'll buy 3 million barrels somewhere else and say we put it in the reserve. And what will actually end up happening is they actually will end up adding no oil to the reserve, but yet said they did.
Right. And if they're going to take oil out of the reserves, I guess more importantly, where's it going, Joe? We're going to have to keep giving it up. The question is, where's it going? Is it going for that little war in Europe there and Ukraine, or where's it going? Right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're using it here, right? So where's it going?
It's a problem. We'll see. Again, the fact that we keep having to empty it, and I'm worried. I'm just worried here that one little hiccup, and next thing you know, we're going to see sky-high oil again. Right now, I guess give them credit for continuing to pull all this oil out of the reserve to keep the price down a little bit. How much further can we go? At the height, they were pulling 7 million barrels a week, 1 million barrels a day. We would have been out of oil by September of this year had they kept doing that. They've cut it, now they're pulling just less than 3 million barrels a day. But, Jason, this is a net side. I mean, eventually everyone's going to find out.
Yeah, and then whatever the plan is for that, I guess will unfold, because I refuse to accept that these guys don't know what they're doing completely. So they're doing it for a reason, Joe. So when it gets to where it's a very low amount of oil in the reserves,
right?
Yeah,
more electric cars. More electric cars. When we get back, I hate to do it, but Jason and I, we've said for a long time, love the people of Ukraine. One of the most corrupt countries, I mean, seriously. And this was well known. Not sure, I don't really understand why it is that we would be trying so desperately to cause this war with Russia in Ukraine. But their equivalent of the Supreme Court justice. So not one of the Supreme Court judges, no, the head of their Supreme Court has been indicted on a bribery scheme of $2.7 million. And Jason, again, and I just highlight this because it's something that again, is causing a lot of heartburn and heartache in a lot of countries and here at home, inflation-wise. And now their leader of their Supreme Court charged with bribery, just like we knew they would be, right? Because that's what the Ukrainian government is. We'll be back with the final segment. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason wrapping it up here on Wednesday, and this one's just it's painful because it's well known. Ukraine, year after year after year, has been ranked as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Why are we there? Why? Listen, we have a debt ceiling problem. We've got a debt problem, and we're just handing billions and billions and billions, tens of billions. By the time it's all done, hundreds of billions of dollars. Here's the sad part. They're saying they expect more judges to be indicted. By the way, this guy got appointed in October of 2021. No word. Here's the good news. No word that Hunter Biden was involved. And no mention of a laptop. But they took a picture. And they got this table. And it's loaded with $100 bills, U.S. $100 bills, just stacked up from this judge's home. And again, where's all our money going? I think I know where $2.7 billion of it went, Jason. I think I found it.
And we have no idea what numbers are actually the right numbers. And
who knows?
Well, Ukraine is asking for more money. Just recently, they're saying, "Yeah, thanks for the help, but we need way more than you're giving us." You know, so which is well, okay, more, Joe. It means more. We're spending a lot of money there. People have no idea how much more money is going there than went to the years in Afghanistan. So
you know, this is like the Iraq where we were dumping pallets of cash out, right? Yeah. You know, apparently somebody gave this judge a cash delivery of U.S. $100 bills. It really is. It's just another example here of what are we doing, right? What are we doing here? It just makes no sense at all. And again, I think this has got a bigger play here, right? This is going to lead. I think all of this ends up leading to a new monetary system, a new monetary world order of some sort, and it's going to be a digital currency without a doubt.
Yeah, you know, it's headed that way, and we'll see. We'll see it unfold. It's going to happen, you know, sooner than later. You know, I don't know how much later it can be. A couple of years, 5 years. I don't even see 5 years, Joe. It just seems like it's going to be in the next 5 years, next year, 2 years, but it'll be implemented. I don't know if it'll be slow or if it's going to be implemented all at once at some point, you know, to cover up the emergency. But they'll tell you how good it is. All you'll see is news about how good it is, and how it's going to make you safer and to make the world better, and then people will just accept it, Joe, and we'll have to deal with it, won't we, Joe? We're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, 800-951-0592, $20 gold, 1 through 49, $23.75, 50 or more, $2,350. Rolls of silver $50 at $265, rolls of silver quarters at $250, and rolls of silver dimes at $125. Again, 800-951-0592. And then tomorrow, Jason, it's going to be Walmart earnings. It's going to be interesting to see what Walmart has to say about sales. And then, of course, the jobless claims number. I think that's going to be the big market mover tomorrow. God bless everybody. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.